Hey everyone, it's Tasty Taste. I'm back for the new year, and this time we're going to talk about what just happened, a crazy amount of FAQs. Right after this, quick intro. Okay, so before I get into it, you might want to turn off this video because it's going to be complaining. I'm going to whine and complain because we got these FAQs, and while I like the content of the FAQs and the point changes we got for Warhammer 40K, I'm just tired of FAQs. I can't believe I even am saying this because like 5 years ago, maybe not even 5 years ago, yeah, about 5 years ago, we'd be like, please, Games Workshop, please fix your game. It's terrible. You need a FAQ, and you're forced, the general populace to FAQ the game to prevent, really terrible abuses. But now, I think we have a little bit of FAQ overload, and it's causing bloat, and especially with Games Workshop not being that advanced at keeping things updated for codexes and for their wonderful app. We have just a ton of problems that these FAQs are creating. And when you add on top of that point changes 6 months in, that is also pretty insane. Now, I want to have the one caveat that this FAQ was kind of a surprise, and we didn't really see it coming. Of course, we have these biannual FAQs we used to have in 8th edition, so this is probably the continuation of that. But I have another theory. It's a small conspiracy that they saw exactly how the global issues are going on, that their supply chains are going to be kind of backlogged. And when they had that announcement about basically every other month is one Sigmar and then the other month is 40K, instead of having like a stream of codexes, which looks like their plan was to get everything out as quickly as possible within a year, just kind of like 8th edition. But now that's thrown up in the air. So like, oh crap, we have to give units point adjustments right now. We have to FAQ right now because some of these codexes are not going to get the boosts and buffs until later because their codexes are going to be delayed. So that's my one caveat for why they did this, and I'm curious to see when we get around next year if it's going to be the same thing again. They're going to do one at the beginning of the year, but I'm actually kind of skeptical of that. I think this is kind of a touch and go situation for them when it comes to rules and that sort of thing, because the supply chain has been messed up and they can't really control what's going to come out when because of all the lockdowns and all that stuff. So that's my one caveat. But as it is, we've gotten so many FAQs since the beginning of the edition, and like I said, the theory behind FAQs is good, but you should make your base game and your base rules for your codexes, as really tight as possible so that an FAQ is literally just like half a page of just kind of corrections, that sort of thing. But right now we're getting a lot of these FAQs, and it's just adding to a lot of rules bloat and a lot of confusions on players. I mean, even though it's pretty clear, cut and dry to me and to a lot of players that play all the time, a lot of competitive players, people still ask questions about like, oh, is my Psychic Awakening thing okay? I mean, I still see that on forums and Facebook posts all the time about people being like, oh, is this okay? Is this going to happen? What rules can I use and what I cannot use? And it's just creating a lot of confusion. These FAQs only add to that confusion. So I wish Games Workshop would do, I don't know. I mean, let the game marinate. There's no reason to rush fixing the game at this point because of the global problems we're having and because of supply chain settings. No one's out there complaining. Half the world can't really play games unless they're playing in their garage with their pod of friends that they only have. Only the really kind of lunatic locations allowing tournaments, that sort of thing, are going on. So under that, guys, you really can't. I don't understand why Games Workshop feels they need to FAQ. They just have one big FAQ for the summer, especially when at that time all the global problems should be clearing out and we should be able to go back to tournaments, play at our local game stores, play at our clubs and all that stuff. So I don't really understand the urgency for this. It just doesn't really make much sense. And this has always been a problem with Warhammer 40K, is that by the end of an edition, we get so many rules bloats that it's layering that they have to do the reset, which is all part of the scheme to get us to buy more models. It's all kind of baked into the situation. But at this point, it's kind of seems to be on a hyper trajectory. And I want to say this is only going to get compounded because Games Workshop is bringing back War Zones, aka campaign books, called Chardon, which is going to have 4 factions in there, and they were also specifically explicit about that, about those 4 factions. It's Admech, Death Guard, Imperial Knights, and Drukhari Dark Eldar are getting those updates, and with those updates, they're still going to get their supplements and codexes. So now we're doing the same thing where it's the Vigilus, when we had those expansions back in the 8th edition, they kind of just gave only a quarter or a third of the factions these awesome powers that no one else had. So this is going to create another dynamic where you have this layering and layering of rules where it's just going to be just bloat over, just overcometh, overbound, over everywhere, and it's just not good for the game. And it's just something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I just feel like I don't know what the solution is, besides of just not having FAQs or having a digital free platform where you can always get rules and download them for free and all the updates are there, but instead GW wants to make money. Or, if you want to make money, GW, every year reprint the codexes with all the FAQs in them. You know what? People will buy that. And especially new players that are getting into army, they'll be like, bam, I got the new codex that has the revised rules for my army, all in that book. You sell, sell, sell. So maybe that might be a solution, but I know people will get really annoyed at that because they'll be like, what version of codex do you have? And I can just imagine the amount of cheating that can happen at a tournament where you're like, oh, I have version 2.5, you have version 2.7. Oh, I didn't know that was the rules now. So you can see a lot of problems with that, but that's just a spitball solution out there. Hey everyone, K-Stacy here again. I'm sorry I'm interrupting my middle of my video, but I totally forgot to do something. And YouTube marketing algorithms say I'm supposed to do it. I'm supposed to always say like 1,000 times in the video, like and subscribe to this video if you like the content. So please do that, like and subscribe, because you're watching it and you've gotten this far, you are either just, accidentally have it on the background, you're not paying attention. But if you do like this and you are watching, you are paying attention, please like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. I think I do say it at the end of the video, but still I need to say it in the middle at least once. Thanks. So another possible solution, and this is one I dread to even say, is why don't we go back to the old ways where there's like a FAQ for everything or partial everything, maybe twice a year, maybe once a year, maybe not even a year at all, especially in this, critical, dangerous time we're living in right now. Like I said, we don't really need FAQs. Unless we just want to do the FAQ after the codex comes out, do the quick little fix FAQ, that's fine. There's a typo, there's something that wasn't clear, fine. Those FAQs are fine, I don't care. But just let the game marinate, let the game sit, let us players decide what's good and bad. Get more data in. I mean, 6 months is really not enough time, especially in the current condition of the game in the world, to really get a good idea what's bad and what's good, what's broken, what's not broken, what needs to be really clarified, what really needs to be changed. So maybe just shockingly don't do anything, because I feel like some of these FAQ changes that were in this FAQ pamphlet are quite, how can I say, reactionary. Like Inceptors going up 5 points for Space Marines. The actual choice would have been make the plasma ones more expensive, not those ones. And we also see it was kind of rushed because we get were often just miscues, or not, I wouldn't say like they're mistypes, it's just that they missed to update stuff. Like for instance, the Black Templars. Guess what? Their points values for their equivalent tactical marines, their crusade squads, are the old school prices. So now you're getting really cheap tactical marines with 2 wounds at 15 points, 15 points instead of the 18 points that are in the new Space Marine Codex. And they specifically said that anything that comes out new trumps the old. So yeah, until they fix that, they're going to be paying that points. And so guess what that means? You have to have an FAQ for the FAQ. And that seems to be a problem as well, is that we're getting FAQs for FAQs, clarifications for clarifications. And I think the only solution for that is hire better people, but probably not hire better people. It's probably take time or do what they did a couple years ago with the Sisters Codex and release, hey, these are the changes we're thinking about. These are preliminary changes we're thinking about. Please look them over. Give us some feedback. And in fact, I kind of vaguely remember something about they're going to have like a feedback channel or a place you can submit feedback. Or am I just hallucinating? I don't remember if that's the case. But let me know in the comments below if you do remember something about that or if I'm completely out of whack and crazy. But anyway, with that said, I'm tired of FAQs. Even if I can't play the game, I'm tired of FAQs. I'm also tired of all the thousands of YouTube channels that are just popping up just to talk about FAQs or videos. But wait a second. No, I guess I'm doing the same thing. So anyway, I'm talking about FAQs, but just being negative about it. So If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week with another video. Take care.